Trump is not fucking around, guys. He is not fucking around. Trump administration halts the immigrant visa processing for 75 countries. The State Department Cities Welfare use as it pauses visa processing from Brazil, Iran, Russia, Somalia, and among others. All right, I want to go through some of the ones that got basically axed. We're not taking anybody from Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria. We're not taking anybody from the Bahamas. Nobody from Bangladesh. Nobody from Belarus, okay? We don't need anybody from Belize. Nobody from Colombia or Cuba. Nobody from Brazil, okay? We don't want anybody from Brazil except for the big booty Latinas. They can still come over. They have a special visa. No retards from Dominica. Nobody from Egypt. Even, even the aliens that are probably still living there. Nobody from Fiji. We already have a Georgia. We don't need yours. We don't want anybody from Ghana either. Get out of here with your gonorrhea. Nobody from Haiti. Fuck them. Don't care. Nobody from Iran. Nobody from Iraq. Yeah, obviously. Nobody from Jamaica, because if you leave the hotel resort area, they will cut your head off. Nobody from Kazakhstan. Nobody from Kuwait. Yeah, no, don't give a fuck. We don't want anybody from Mongolia, all right? Nobody. Trump built a wall, goddammit, just like China did. Nobody from Mongolia. We don't want any Russians. We don't want any Pakistanis, okay? Nobody from the Republic of the Congo. Fuck them all. Nobody from Nigeria. Fuck it. All right, last time we imported a bunch of people from some of these countries, we got yelled at. We don't want to do it anymore. Fuck them. Nobody from Somalia, because why the hell would we bring those retards in here? Their average IQ is 67. And I don't know if you know how averages work, but that means that there are a lot of people with an IQ below 67. And they're all currently stealing billions of dollars from the American taxpayer through Minneapolis, Minnesota, and through their congressional representative, Ilhan Omar. Definitely check out some of my videos about that. I have a whole playlist called Ilhan Omar Sucks. Definitely check it out on my YouTube channel. And while you're there, subscribe, okay? We're doing things this year. Okay, we don't want anybody from Uganda, nobody from Uruguay, and nobody from Yemen. Fuck them all right? Trump just made a list of all the garbage countries on the planet. And if I'm being honest with you, you could probably count all of these as a hit list too, because everybody on here is kind of a third world country for the most part. And there's a lot of countries here that we could just pull a Venezuela. We could bust in there, rip their leader out of their bed, take no casualties, and do it all in a couple hours. Do it all before lunch. Oh man, this is a great time to be alive. Every day I wake up, I am more happy that I live in the United States of America, because it's just the best one on the planet. All right, so this is no visas for you. The U.S. freezes visas for 75 nations, including Somalia, Iran, in a massive crackdown. We are not bringing people that hate this country into this country anymore. We are not bringing people that do not contribute to society in any meaningful way into this country anymore. And it is an absolute W, and somebody had to fucking do it. So let's find out what the Economic Times says about it on YouTube, huh? Immigration crackdown.
The U.S. government has suspended visa processing for Somalians.
Look at that, Trump walking in with that hot piece of ass.
Seeking to travel to the United States. Part of a sweeping policy affecting over 75 countries worldwide. The move, announced in a memo from the State Department, means that visa applications from these countries will no longer be accepted or processed. This suspension affects countries including
absolute W. We're tired of letting in the retards.
Russia, Somalia, Brazil, Afghanistan, and a host of others across Africa.
It's almost like we don't want to bring terrorists into this country.
Africa, Asia, Europe.
We're having a hard enough time getting the fucking ones that are already here out.
And Latin America. The duration of the freeze remains unclear, but it comes amid heightened scrutiny of immigration and visa policies under the Trump administration. Just last week, a new travel rule was introduced requiring travelers from 19 countries applying for B1 and B2 visas to post bonds of up to $15,000.
Hey, what is it, like $1 million or $5 million or something, and you get the Trump card where it's like it's a golden visa and like doesn't matter what country you're from, you can come in as long as you pay that like X amount of $1 million. That way, isn't that what that is? It's like I don't know, like the Trump gold card or some shit.
However, that policy is now likely overridden by the broader visa suspension, which also halts entry for students, workers, tourists, and even green card holders. U.S. officials cited high rates of visa overstays and concerns about security as reasons for the restrictions. The suspension is tied to the so-called public charge clause, which allows the government to deny visas to applicants considered likely to rely on taxpayer-funded welfare. New guidelines now require consular officers to evaluate age, health, financial standing, English proficiency, and potential reliance on public benefits. Somalia is receiving particular attention after a federal investigation in Minnesota uncovered a large-scale fraud scheme allegedly involving Somali nationals. While Somalia was not singled out for any...
Okay, first of all, it's not allegedly anything, okay? I watched the video. He walked around and just wanted to know if the daycares were open, because he wasn't doing it like, he wasn't actually trying to enroll anybody, but he was trying to see if it was a legitimate business by doing some sort of a civilian audit on it, so that he was basically, what would happen is he would walk up and he'd go, hey, so I noticed this is a daycare rated for X amount of kids, trying to sign up little Johnny, or whatever the fuck he called his fake son, trying to sign up little Johnny, can we do that? And a lot of them kept turning him away, or wasn't there, or like it was just a rundown building. It was weird, and there were like multiple cases where it had collected millions of dollars and then was shut down for fraud, and then they changed the name and started collecting millions of more dollars, but they never even changed the sign on the building. So they just went in and changed the name in the back office so they could keep collecting more money, and they get more and more and more kids that they are technically able to take in, so that they can collect more and more money. Now, that's not all of them, obviously. There are some daycares there that are still legitimate, but unfortunately there are a lot that are fraudulent as well, and it kind of paints the ones that are legitimate in a super bad light, particularly when they are literally all Somalian daycares.
Any specific incident, the suspension places thousands of prospective travelers in limbo, with no clear timeline
Yeah, these look like people that will enrich our society, definitely.
for when the review will conclude
That they live in literal huts, bro. Like, come on.
or whether humanitarian exceptions will be allowed.
People that were not in the country, but we denied them re-entry. I can get you the exact numbers. I don't want to be misquoted because that's a rolling number, an average number. But look, this is not a punitive thing. We're going out to try to make examples of it. Our visa system, okay, who you allow to visit your country should reflect the national interest. We said that.
Yeah, why bring people here that aren't that if it doesn't support the best interests of the United States, why bring more people here?
From the very beginning. It was one of the directives that we got from the president. It's one of the things he ran on. And so our visa process basically is, now there are some times we'll deny people visas because of activities they've undertaken overseas. Other times it's people that have visas but are in the United States doing things that run counter to our national interest. And the law gives us the right, and in fact, I would argue the obligation to remove people like that from our country.
I would agree. Thank you, Marco Rubio. I'm so glad that you are willing to do 5 jobs in the U.S. Court, and or well, not court, I guess I should say the U.S. cabinet under Donald Trump. I'm so glad you're willing to do all of these jobs, and also be the governor of Cuba whenever we get to that point.
And we're going to continue to do it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, sometimes somebody comes in and says, oh, I want to come in as a student. They're here as a student, and then once they're here, they're involved in nefarious activity.
Yep, because they're here as a student, but they're also an activist.
We're going to remove them from the country.
Thank you. Absolutely, W. Thank you.
But then maybe they're here as a researcher. Maybe they're here as, I don't want to say journalist because you guys will get upset, but...
Maybe they're here as a terrorist.
You know, it could be anything. You know, these are visitors to the country. A visa is a visitor. It's not a right. By the way, we deny visas every day all over the world. People will go to an embassy, they'll sit for an interview, and the consular officer will deny them a visa because of something that came up in the record, because of something that came up in their interview, whatever it may be. So if you have the power to deny someone a visa before they get one, you most certainly have the power to revoke it once they get one and then do something they shouldn't be doing. So there's a variety of reasons why visas are denied, but all of them are because it implicates our national interest or national security in some way.
You began the briefing by talking about your confirmation hearing, and one of the core...
She looks like Bella and Edward combined, right? Like just think about it. That's definitely their kid. She's a vampire. There's no way this lady is real. This lady is not real.
commitments or goals you set for yourself in that hearing was to rid the State Department of anti-Semitism and what...
Damn, I don't know where they're at right now, but they've got good seats.
What the president calls DEI ideology. When you look back at the last year, have you done that, sir?
Have we done what? I'm sorry.
Rid the State Department of anti-Semitism
No.
and
Yeah,
DEI
so,
ideology.
well, look, I think there were...
Oh, yeah, no, see, here's the thing. If you are in the State Department and you think that you should hire somebody based on anything other than their competency, yeah, you don't fucking deserve to be there.
actions that were being taken that we're very concerned about in terms of statements that were made from some...
DEI practices are literally discriminatory and racist on their face.
around the world or actions that were taken. Ultimately, what the president asked for is a government based on merit, where people were being promoted up because of merit, irrespective of their background, their ethnicity, the color of their skin, the first language they spoke, where they were born. We want to promote people on the basis of merit. We have redone the whole process by which we do promotions.
Totally agree. And you know who else would agree? Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, MLK, the guy that they named one street in every city after.
In a career foreign service. We've redone it in a way that prioritizes the right thing. There were people not being promoted in the State Department because even though they were exemplar foreign officers, their DEI score under the previous administration was too low. There were people that were because they weren't committed enough to the DEI cause.
There are people that are being promoted just because they're a certain skin color in the construction industry. There are people that are being promoted just because they're from a certain other country, right? Like there's people that and even more than that, like there's people that get promoted and get jobs and get like opportunities just because of their last name, right? There's a lot of discrimination going on, and we don't really need to add more, particularly when that specific type of discrimination is already illegal under the Civil Rights Act.
So we have very talented people that did not get promoted in the State Department because they did a great job, but they had a low DEI score. We got rid of that. That's not going to exist anymore. We are going to judge people on how good they are at the job that they do. And by the way, we're also opening to promoting people, not just based on seniority. We have some very talented, and I say junior officers, like 10 years, 15 years is considered junior around here. They're very talented. If we don't promote some of these people, we're going to lose them. Because there's a lot of money to be made in the private sector, and the people want to pursue in life. If people don't see upward mobility where they work, if they don't see the opportunity that by working hard and being successful, I'm going to be able to get ahead, they think they're reading roadblocks, they may leave and go work for another agency or outside of government. So we want to promote.
And I'm so glad that the solution for people leaving government agencies is not to pay them more money. I do not think that government agencies should be paid the highest amount. I don't think that government employees should be paid the highest amount. I do think that that should come specifically from the private sector and specifically from companies that can afford to do it, okay? I don't think that we should overstretch our budget just to accommodate for a higher pay scale for people, just to keep them here. We can promote them. We can add other types of incentives that don't require giving them more of the taxpayer dollars and inflating the American currency even more than it already was. That's why President Trump has gotten it down to 2.7 in one fucking year, which is awesome.
Promote good people on the basis of merit. And I do think we have made changes. In fact, I just today approved a list of foreign service promotions for the president to submit to Congress. And it's on that new basis. So I'm really happy with that program. And look, we'll tinker with it, we'll improve it as time goes on, but we thought it was critically important that people be promoted on the basis of merit and skill, and not on all these other things, and certainly not on a DEI score.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, and places like Ford literally have a whole DEI program. They have a whole diversity, equity, and inclusion sector where they literally do that kind of shit, and I think it's crazy.
Given that the Brown University and MIT shooter entered the U.S. with a diversity visa and Secretary Noem has since paused the program, is the State Department looking into considering pursuing...
What? Look, the lady that's not real is staring her down like she's a piece of meat. This is good. Like, who is this dumb bitch sitting next to me that thinks she can talk in my area? Look at the hate on her face, man. Oh my god. Lady, run. She's gonna eat you.
Permanent changes to the green card system, like changes to
She's just trying to do her job. You leave her alone, vampire lady.
eligibility rules.
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. I know they suspended that program because they want this. And the reason why you suspend this program is not because you argue everybody who came in under that visa is a bad person and is going to shoot a place up. It's because you want to determine whether there's something in the vetting of that program that's insufficient. Is there a systemic problem in how those decisions are made that needs to be addressed? So I think it's wise to suspend a program until you understand whether there's a deficiency in the program. So you just had a guy that
I think it's wise to suspend that program indefinitely anyway.
came in through a certain route. You suspend the program to figure out whether something that came up in the interview process should have been a red flag but wasn't identified, so you can fix that.
Yeah, fuck them. Listen, it's okay to discriminate against failing countries. It is okay to discriminate against people that are objectively worse than you. Okay? Not all cultures are the same, and people are going to have to deal with that.
Before you restart the program. So I would imagine that's the process we're going to go through as well. Okay, yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for all your time here today. An issue I believe is close to your heart, Cuba. Is it the policy of the United States to seek regime change in Havana? And should we see the developments that are going on right now with Venezuela, the U.S. policies, as part of an effort to
I'm so glad they brought that up. Okay, this is going to be awesome.
bring down the communist government?
Do it, 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 do it. Look, Cuba was on the list. Cuba was on the 75 country list, all right? As far as I'm concerned, those are the ones that are in runner-up to be the next state in the United States, okay? Cuba was on the list. I'm just saying, look, it's probably a military target. It's probably something that we're considering, given that it's another one of those nations that we could just straight up pull a Venezuela, if you catch my drift, okay? Operation Southern Spear, fuck you.
Yeah,
And if I may briefly, do you stand by your statement earlier this year that nobody has died
I stand by everybody's statement that it's in the Trump administration, save for the one that said the Epstein files don't exist. That one was a stupid statement that I don't stand behind.
from U.S. aid cuts?
Oh, yeah, we stand by the U.S. aid cuts.
On your first point, I think it's not just the policy of this administration. I think every administration would love to see a different type of situation in Cuba. Cuba's a disaster.
Cuba is absolutely a disaster, and the president keeps talking shit. He's going to get ripped out of a bed just like Maduro was.
It's a disaster. It's not just because they're Marxists and because they're terrible.
Look, Cuba gets a lot of their oil from Venezuela, too, so the fact that Cuba cannot get oil from Venezuela right now because Trump shut that shit down, their economy is going to literally implode.
They're incompetent.
Same thing for China if they can't get oil from Iran and Venezuela anymore. Like it's a really bad situation for the American enemies right now, and all we did was start asserting dominance in our hemisphere.
These are incompetent people, and they've destroyed that country. On the second point,
Yep, that's fair. That's why we should make it a U.S. state. I'm just saying, look, it's already part of the Gulf of America. It's right off of Florida. We'll just make it part of the Keys, whatever.
I'm very proud of the changes we've made in foreign aid. Just yesterday, the day before, we are, I think before the end of this year, going to enter into over 50 compacts, health compacts with different countries around the world. Understand the way this used to work. We used to go to a country.
Yeah, we'd go to a country, we'd give them money to make their shit better, and then we'd give them as much more money as they fucking felt like it, and now we're done with that.
And say we're going to give you a bunch of money for your healthcare programs.
Yep.
And then we would go out and hire some NGO in Northern Virginia or whatever. They would take their 60% cut off the top for administrative aid. They would take another 20%. Before you knew it, just a portion of that money was even reaching these countries.
And when it did reach the countries, it was given to terrorists or drug cartels.
In many cases, many of those countries, it is true. I heard somebody whisper that's not true. It is true. In many of these countries,
It was the vampire lady.
the governments didn't even know how much money was being spent. We are now entering into government-to-government.
That's because the money was going directly to terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda or Hezbollah or ISIS or Hamas, for example, who was taking a lot of the UN aid that was going to Palestine during the initial years of that. So, yeah. Definitely subscribe on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Sestel-G2D. I did not plan that, but hey, you know what? Whatever. If YouTube thinks I'm the second coming, who am I to judge, right? If you don't like YouTube anymore, if you're tired of that, if you're going over to Rumble, like some people have, then definitely subscribe to me there. Also, rumble.com/Sestel. If you like X.com and you like based opinions and you like people like me calling out people like the guy behind me, or the people that are opposing him, honestly, more often than not, then definitely go over to x.com /real_Sestel, because for whatever reason, Sestel was already taken, which is odd because I really thought that I was pretty unique with this name. Anyway, let's see you guys next week. Bye.